Utah comes in averaging the most second chance points of any team in the NBA. You guys have obviously been very good on the defensive glass. I know they won't have Kessler, but how much do you expect the second chance scoring to be a part of the Jazz's offensive strategy tonight?
It seems like it's a big part of their game. They've done a great job of they play big. They usually have some trees out there for a lineup, and then there's a mentality, it seems like, from all those guys crashing from the corners and trying to just win the possession game and try to come up with a couple more opportunities. I think that our guys have done a really good job. It's part of our defensive absolutes of finishing possessions. Part of finishing possessions is contesting without fouling, which I think that we still have room for improvement there. But the rebounding part, everyone has been engaged, participating, trying to sandwich and chip block some of the bigs that are really, relentless on the glass. And so I've been proud of our effort there. And I hope tonight we have the same type of focus to be able to do it for 48 minutes.
Yesterday in postgame, you talked about how you guys started following the game plan against Julius Randle and maybe abandoned it as the game went on. How do you make sure that happens for 48 minutes, like you kind of just alluded to there?
They didn't abandon it. We just weren't as good at it. But I thought in that first half we were just super tight with everything in terms of putting together two 25-point quarters. I thought we showed our hands really well, some unfortunate foul calls. We finished possessions well, kind of had them taking the shots that we wanted to. And then I thought in the second half we just gave up on a couple offensive rebounds or some turnovers, put them in a better position in transition. And then that DiVincenzo stint where you lose a really hot shooter for a while that I thought kind of helped them too. So no abandonment, just not as good at a lot of the details of the game plan as we got into that second half.
After each of the last two home games, both players that have come to the podium have pointed to a lack of physicality as a reason that the game got away from you guys in the fourth quarter. How do you guys be more physical tonight, especially against a team like Utah that is much bigger than you guys in the starting lineup?
Yeah, you go back and watch the film, and the rebounding aspect, I actually feel like we're pretty physical in. Sometimes when we're switching, we're pretty physical in our steers and pounces. And to me, it's those opportunities where, and tonight's going to be important because they're an off-ball centric team. They're passers. When passers are just like standing at half court and they're idle, I think that we can hawk the ball so much better, like make them a little bit uncomfortable, impact the ball handlers or the passers before they're getting screens. That's where I think that our physicality can go to another level, and I would love to see that happen today for just a longer stretch. It happens at times during the game, but you got to be consistent. It's hard to win in this league, and you got to be able to be committed to all of your principles and your absolutes for a full 48 or however long the game lasts.
From a Jazz perspective, we know Colin Sexton well. What has he brought personality-wise, especially to your young squad?
Energy, passion, togetherness, work ethic. Like the kid, he's an unbelievable human being and worker. And I'm glad that we were able to figure out a way to do that trade. I think it helped both sides. Nurk obviously being a phenomenal human being too, and we had the pleasure of working with him last year. But Colin, from day one, has just come in with a workman-like mindset. He wants to learn everything. He wants to collaborate with his teammates and figure out how he can help them be better and how the team can be better. We've seen possessions during the game where his ability to defensively kind of just create havoc for the other team and makes it hard for them to run their sets. And offensively, he's a one-man fast break. How fast he is, how strong he is. I think he's doing such a good job of playing with the pass at times too, and getting in there and making his rim read. So anyway, he's been really good. I could talk about him all day. His energy kind of rubs off on me, and I don't need any more energy.
Coach, I have two questions for you. We saw two of the guys, Trey and Miles, in here yesterday, and I could sit here and guess as to what emotion they might have been feeling after the game. I'm wondering what you saw out of the group collectively and how you think that's going to play out tonight for 4 quarters.
I think they're going to be hungry tonight. I feel like they thought we did a lot of good things for a majority of the game, but when you play a team that good, they'll punish you as soon as you slow down defensively or slow down offensively. They capitalize on your mistakes with their talent level and their experience. So I think that the group recognizes some of the areas that we didn't execute well enough, and they're going to be hungry to get back out there and compete today. hungry to try to hunt somebody else and come up with a road win before a home win before we go on the road.
I have one more for Ryan. I'm just wondering, where has the game slowed down for him in just the early season?
Yeah, Ryan, the game's always moving slow for him because he's just so smart. And I think that his instincts are so good on both sides of the floor. He has a good grasp of what we're asking him to do and how we want him to help us protect the paint. We've also thrown him into a lot of different matchups for him to have to recognize, and he's picked it up really quickly. And then I think offensively, he's got such a good feel for screening angles. He creates advantages for our ball handlers. He also does a really good job around the basket, just working the dunker and understanding, baseline drive, I'm circling to the middle of the rim, and middle drive, I'm working underneath to the other side. So he's been really good, and I'm impressed with his progress in such a short amount of time.
I can ask kind of a scheme-esque question. Watching two of your games, it seems you prefer to play drop as much as you can on the pick and roll. How does the off-ball action that Utah runs, maybe particularly with Lowry, tax that approach tonight?
Yeah, I think really it's just you got to stay disciplined with Lowry, and you can't fall asleep. As physical as you want to be, you can't get too high because he's a really good cutter, and he'll back cut you. And there's some great passers that'll throw those lobs to him and backdoor cuts and stuff. So, hopefully our fives can help protect the paint, but then all of a sudden they throw these shooting fives out there, and it becomes a little bit more difficult to be in drop. Now you have to red, and now that you're red and you're up and connected to maybe that five, you're not going to be able to help on some of these curls and backdoors and stuff. So it taxes your defense for sure. The discipline of the person guarding Marketing is going to be really important. And then as much as possible, pressuring their passers is going to be important.
In the last three games, you guys have been able to keep things close through the first 2.5 quarters, but then towards the end of the third, the game seems to start to slip away, and the deficit will balloon to around 20. What do you think is leading to those stretches where things start to get out of control?
Sometimes some defensive lapses. I think every game has been a little bit different. Different experience of what's going on. Sometimes it's some defensive things or defensive rebounding, or one particular player on the other team has kind of gotten away from us, or offensively, just sometimes not being able to convert. There's also been games where we do a great job defensively. We're getting stops, we're out, and how do you finish a fast break or an advantage situation? And what the Orlando game, I think we went to go throw a lob, and Miles gets fouled in the air. So now it becomes a side out of bounds. And then after that side out of bounds, you don't execute as well. I think we turned it over. So then you end up with an empty possession where you just got to keep kind of building and stacking some good possessions as teams go on runs. And then I think I mentioned it too, some of the turnovers that have just happened within the half court.
After the Orlando game, Sion came in here and he was basically said it was cool to start his first game. He wished that you guys would have put out a win. That feels like the mindset for a lot of the guys that you have brought in this summer. What has that done to the group as a whole, having that kind of mindset where stats are fine, starting games is fine, but we want to win?
Yeah, it helps a ton. And I think that it's refreshing to see a group come in here and have that mindset, especially to be so young, so mature, focused on the right things, focused on trying to compete at a high level, help their teammates, do whatever's necessary on the court. And it helps even the guys returning that are starting to evolve their mindsets too and understand the importance of how much we all need each other. And so it's good to get that group of guys in here that focus on that every day because, win or lose, they're just, how can I keep getting better? How can I help the team move forward and help us build some winning habits? And, we got 4 rookies in our rotation, and it's fun to see their growth. And, they're going to have some great moments, and then they're going to have some rookie moments. But regardless, they are focused on trying to stack good days, be positive, be optimistic, and keep working hard.
Thank you.